Hello, I'm Raph. I'm playing a Warforged Gloomforged named Styx. He is a Paladin and has been recently reawakened and is learning about the world around him with some new friends that he's just met.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared. I'm playing the character of Luther. He's a Dhampir. He is a fighter that specializes in firearms, a bit of an investigator, and I am the great uncle of Grinner.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm playing Tithla, the Goblin Ranger. She is a wonderful hunter and medical genius.
Hi, I'm Haz. I'm playing Theodore, the Satyr Druid, who's a kind of a charismatic Druid who's unwillingly taken Tithla under his wing as she's followed him through the forest for the past few months.
Hi, my name is Josh. I am from the Roll Together RPG stream, and I will be playing Killian Maxwell, a half-elf warlock who has come to Barovia. He was with the party previously but has lost them and has joined up with the Tempest Guild on their adventures.
G'day, I'm Tom. I'm playing Jonor, the Aasimar wizard. He is on the pursuit of good and evil, finding out the best and worst in this world, and he's doing that with a little bit of naivety and optimism.
And I'm Owen, the Dungeon Master of our Curse of Strahd campaign. A warning, gentle viewer. Curse of Strahd is a horror-themed Dungeons & Dragons campaign, which means you may hear adult language or adult themes throughout this episode. Hello! Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the Lost Archives. It is wonderful to be back playing some Dungeons & Dragons, specifically our Curse of Strahd, the premiere horror-themed 5th edition campaign that you can watch right here on the Lost Archives. We are ready. We are raring to go. Well, most of us are ready, and most of us are raring to go. For those of you who are listening to the podcast, there are 2 dulcet tones. Well, 1 dulcet tone, 1 screeching tone that you will not hear tonight. Jared is unable to... I'm just choking on my own joke there. Jared is unable to make it tonight. I think I went to do Raspip and my vocal cords were like, you have not warmed up. It just did not work.
You can't just launch straight into Raspip.
You cannot launch straight into Raspip. You need to have a gateway voice. You will not hear the voice of Jared. Unfortunately, he is unable to make it tonight. And Andrew is also able to make it, so we will not have our guest character Raspip. Easily enough, we're at a point in the story where the 2 of them can hang out and keep an eye on the winery and make sure that it's going to be safe, while the rest of them carry on to Yester Hill. So no dramas there. Choking on my own joke, put it on a t-shirt. It's tempting. I thought I was like, that's actually not a bad.
Yeah.
What would I do as the picture? Would I take a photo of myself coughing and then draw it as a D&D character and just have me like choking on like a vicious mockery? That could be kind of funny.
I'm pretty sure it's got to be a chicken choking, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, he's got me there. So we will not have Jared and Andrew joining us tonight. Yeah, that would work too. You could do it as a tabaxi. You could have a tabaxi doing it. Okay, we've got this sorted. We do, however, have Raph, Tom, and obviously you've heard the voices of Jacob and Haz negging me from the sidelines. So we're jumping back in and we're ready to go.
This is us building you up, buddy. You want to say negging?
It's a problem. Yeah. In terms of fun announcements to share behind the scenes, the only fun announcement I have to share at the moment is that in between D&D sessions on YouTube, you'll have seen some episodes of Synergy, which is this really cool new game that I've been playing. I played the demo a couple of months back when it first came out. The demo is free on Steam. It's a colony survival city builder game style, but it's unlike anything else I've played before. It's phenomenal. It's all hand-drawn art. It's in the style of Mobius, the French artist who does these very cool sci-fi drawings. Or if you're looking for like another comparison, if you're not familiar with Mobius, it's a little bit like Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, but a bit more sci-fi. It's really cool. I am really enjoying playing it. The early access launched a couple of weeks ago. I've recorded a couple of sessions, which I'm putting out whenever we don't have a D&D session, and then also to fill the gaps in between our sessions. So if you're enjoying it, let me know, because I'm really enjoying playing it. It's this really cool scenario where you're stranded on this alien planet. You don't know how long humans have been there. There's like these old ancient civilizations, and you're sort of learning how to survive on this planet, and it's all about understanding the flora and the fauna and living in synergy with it. Raph, if I was ever going to recommend a game to you that is right up your alley and fits so well with a lot of the themes of the books that you've been working on, this would be it.
I'm going to check it out then for sure.
It's really good. The demo is completely free. It's probably about 2 to 3 hours. of the demo, which is a decent chunk of time. I do recommend the early access though, so definitely recommend checking that out. So yeah, if you're enjoying that sort of stuff, let me know in the comments and go and check it out. If there's any other games you'd like me to check out, let me know, because I'm in the market for checking out some cool new games that are coming out and having a bit of a play around with some new things that are coming. It's probably the main fun thing I have to share from behind the scenes. Raph, Tom, Haz, Jacob, any fun news to share before we launch into the session?
I've been playing the shit out of Bannerlords. Manor Lords.
I like Bannerlords though. That's really fun. So you're a Discord moderator and you just ban people constantly. It's really fun. Yeah. Manor Lords. Yeah, I also got that. I haven't had much of a chance to play it, unfortunately. I've been locked into Synergy, but I have heard some incredibly good things about it. I was going to say, Raph, that's also another game that's right up your alley.
Yeah. Good stuff for how early in the development it is. But yeah, really good shit.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to checking that out. Any other fun things to share? Any other fun games we've been playing recently? Fun things we've been doing?
I've been reading a book from relatively new author, I think.
Okay.
You probably haven't heard of him, Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, I have heard of that author. I think he might be my favorite fucking author of all time. Yeah, which book are you reading? What's the book you're reading at the moment?
Well of Ascension, the second in the Mystical.
Oh, nice.
That's definitely not a new book, but I'm really proud of you for getting to the Mystical.
No, but it's
series.
a new author though.
Brandon.
Emerging.
Yeah, up and coming.
King
I've never heard of it.
King of fantasy and world building. Our Lord Sanderson. New author. It's fun. I've just started reading The Sunlit Man again, which is one of the Kickstarter ones. So good. So good. Yeah. I think the new Way of Kings is coming out shortly. The new Roshar book.
Later this year, I think, yeah.
Yeah. The speed at which that man writes and publishes and the quality, it does not make any sense. Yeah. Alice is convinced that he has like a dungeon of interns that he makes write the book for him. But I was like, I think it's too consistent.
Yeah, I think he just sits down for 9 hours a day and just does it instead of whenever the mood takes him, like, Patrick fucking Ross.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming, and I was so ready for it. Yeah, I once saw a comment. Patrick Rothfuss was playing in a D&D game on a Twitch stream, and a whole bunch of people came over from Goodreads and were just like, finish the book, and then doing like doors and stone. Oh, it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, man. I know. Fucking yeah. I don't know what to say. Look, I feel like I'm just going to be patiently waiting for the Doors of Stone right up until they bury me, and then it'll probably come out.
Mm-hmm. Hope so.
Thanks, Jacob.
So all we have to do is take you out and
never get the book.
No.
You've been saying some sus things about Boeing lately, mate.
If you don't get that reference, you're not Australian, probably, I would say, statistically. If you do get that reference and you're not Australian, well done. Some weird stuff going on in Australia at the moment with, there's some odd stuff. I don't think this is the platform to talk about it, to be honest. No other fun news to share. I was going to open up the floor again to fun news to share, but I think I know what Jacob's going to say next, so I think we should just start and let's do a recap.
But Maisie Peters is so good.
You may share one piece of news with from Maisie Peters if it's actual news.
I'm going to reserve my time for a time that you don't expect it.
It's not sick leave. I don't think you can accrue.
You don't bank this. This is a dictatorship. You've been offered a chance to stay your execution by speaking now. It is forever hold your peace is the other option. I want you to pick one right now.
I reject that, and I'll do it my way.
So forever hold his peace. Brilliant. Thank you, Raph. Thank you, Senator. Alrighty, let us do our recap, and we will jump into the session. Our series has been following the adventures of the Tempest Adventuring Guild, Theo, Luther, Jonor, Grinner, and Tithla. Having become trapped within the realm of Barovia while searching for some missing adventurers, the team have been travelling west in hopes of an escape from this dark land. Having just received news of an attack on the Wizard of Wine's vineyard by the druids of Yester Hill, the party have rushed to help their friends at the vineyard. Along the main road, the team bumped into an old acquaintance, a gnome sorcerer called Raspip the party had previously worked with back in Vallaki. After discovering his goal was to wipe out the druids for attempting to steal from him, an alliance was forged. Before they could arrive at the winery, however, The team was stopped by Stefania Martikov, daughter of the winery owner Davian. Leading the team through to a secret camp, they met with Lara Martikov, the older sister of Davian, who was very keen to plan an attack on the druids. Providing vital information on the druids and the status of the vineyard, the team spent the remaining time planning and gathering further intel. The chosen approach? Theo and Styx would offer themselves as combined bait and distraction for the druids, allowing the others to silently approach and ready for an ambush. This plan worked basically perfectly. A lone druid immediately approaching Theo and, after some back and forth, challenging him to single combat. Taking advantage of this excellent distraction, the others move forward, quickly discovering blights hiding amongst the vines. Meanwhile, Styx made it inside the farmhouse and discovered a number of other druids watching the fight. However, he was able to pretend to be a mindless construct. Sensing the presence of the rest of the party through their blights, the druids summoned an enormous tree blight to take out the threat, calling it Winter Splinter. The party's cover now well and truly blown, combat erupted. Luther and Jonor began to use their combined magic to help repair the partially collapsed roof of the main building, while Styx and Tithla looked over the unconscious druid the party had captured. Once the prisoner awoke, Theo and Jonor employed illusion magic to trick her and ask some questions about the druids of Yester Hill, the zone of truth Styx had cast, enforcing truthful answers only. Learning all they needed, the druids were quickly disposed of, just in time for Lara to return from scoping the rest of the property, checking for danger. Speaking with them, Lara learned the actions of the party in the Abbey of St. Markovia, and with the knowledge the corruption of the abbot had been undone, Lara revealed the truth of the Martikov family. A secret society of were-ravens, spanning generations, had been gathering information and intelligence, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Taken below the winery into a large chamber full of scrolls, books, and journals, the team discussed their situation with Lara and Stefania, learning of a holy weapon empowered with divine light, which could help them take the fight to Strahd and Sergei. Jonor revealed he might already have the handle of this sword, taken from the attic of the Vlakovich family during their bloodless coup. Styx seemed to have a strange pull toward the hilt, and upon touching it, it was revealed that Styx had in fact been forged from the blade of the Sun Sword, the sentient magic item transformed into a warforged. We left off last session as Styx began to glow softly, the handle in his hands suddenly forming a blade of pure golden light. And that is how we left things last session. We jump straight back in. As all of you watch, ye see Styx holding the hilt of the Sun Sword, this soft, glowing blade, partially transparent, made of sunlight, emerging from the hilt. Warm, soft light fills the chamber, and the cold and the dark pushed back and banished as if driven away by this sword. You feel this warmth within you, a warmth on your skin, a sensation you haven't felt since you first arrived in Barovia, the feeling of warm sunlight. And you watch as Styx, holding the sword, slowly lets go. But instead of dropping to the floor, the hilt begins to retract into his arm, almost moving apart the plates and molding itself in with his upper wrist. As the blade begins to retract, dissipating into nothingness. Styx, we've already added the Sun Sword to your inventory. You've chosen the long sword appearance for it. Perfect. Brilliant. As the light slowly fades, the glow drops, you watch as Luther kind of rubs his eyes and looks at Styx very closely, and then just shakes his head, his mouth partially agape, not really believing what he's seeing. And I pass over.
I am whole.
I think that is what we ended on last time as well, actually, so that's perfect.
You needed the hilt of a sword that Jonor found in an attic?
Correct. I needed myself.
Do you remember anything about your past now, or?
It's a good question, actually. Do I have anything flood back in any capacity?
Styx, could you please roll me a history check with advantage, please?
Yeah.
Let's see what memories you're able to conjure as you...
That's with advantage, because that was nat 1 for starters.
Great, we're off to a killer start.
No, don't. Not killer.
Not again. That is a 15. I'm still trying to get roll 20 up and going.
That's okay. 15. Styx, the images that flood your mind as the sword slowly locks back into position, as the hilt, I should say, slowly locks back into position, are a confusing jumble, out of order, messy. Sometimes the sound comes in moments, swelling and then disappearing as these images, almost like watching a corrupted video file play in front of you, flashing between still frames and then moving images. You see a man, first incredibly old, then incredibly young, then incredibly old again, jumping between these different time periods as you watch the footage playing through your mind. Your memory bank's partially restored. You see yourself as the sword in his hands. Then you see yourself as the core at the center of your Gloomforged body. Then back to the sword again. And then you see this one image, partially corrupted, the audio glitching and broken in your ear. This very hard to interpret what's being said. But what you see is a beautiful blue sky. A castle on a hill over a quaint village. Smoke rising from the chimneys. A large stone bridge connecting the castle to this well-maintained main road. You can see carts moving along the road up towards the castle, some moving down towards the village, some heading towards the forest, bordering onto these lands. Standing on the bridge are two figures. Very similar in appearance and somewhat similar in dress. Dark hair, dark eyes, quite almost like hooked sharp features, standing on either side of the bridge staring at each other. And the hand that's holding you is that of a woman. Raven hair. Young, maybe 20s, maybe late 20s at most, mid to late 20s. Pale skin. Bright green eyes. And you know you've seen her before. Back in at the church, the Abbey of St. Markovia. Spitting image of this woman sitting on one of those hospital beds as you rushed in before to check on the inside of that room. She was talking to those two figures, the young woman and the young man. But in this version, in this image, she's holding the sword, holding you, and you can feel this pulse of power as the light begins to shine from your blade. And then that is all the memories that return for this moment.
With the two facing off on the bridge, does it seem like there's conflict there? What can I gain from the image as far as that?
I would say there's definitely a tension between them. Neither has drawn a weapon, neither is wielding great magics at the other, but the intensity of the glare as they stand on opposite sides of the bridge, staring at each other. Yeah. There's a tension there. Mm-hmm. An animosity. Strong, burning animosity.
And I'm being held in like the center of the bridge in between them with
standing the woman? At the border where the bridge becomes the main road, probably about 20, 30 meters away from the center of the bridge where these two are standing, almost like this woman who's carrying you has just started approaching from the village maybe and just arrived at the bridge, looking up towards the castle, high above, the sun partially obscured by one of the parapets, casting this long shadow over the bridge. Both brothers, or both figures I should say, obscured partially by the shadow. I think we know who it is. I don't think that's a huge spoiler.
Who is it? What? All right, well, last question then.
Yeah.
Does the woman have any characteristics of the other two? Do they look like they're related in any way to the two on the bridge?
No, not related. You can see the facial structure is quite different. The two figures have this almost kind of hawk-like appearance, slightly pointed nose, very sharp features, widow's peak along the hairline. One of the brothers has this long hair that's sort of pulled back a little bit over the, almost like shoulder-length hair that's pulled back into almost like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not not a ponytail, but pulled back into like a back sweep, let's call it. That's not the term, but that'll do.
Medieval mullet.
Done. Medieval mullet. A med mullet. Whereas the other has shorter dark hair that's sort of almost a bit like spiky in a way. It kind of has this almost like spiked appearance. Much shorter hair.
Okay. Yeah, I think probably just Styx is going to be too overwhelmed by all of that going on, and he's probably just been standing there just going, while the memory's doing its thing, not making any sense to anyone.
I just slowly move his jaw up.
Is it broken?
Well, it did it this first time. What do we do? I look in my pockets for anything I can put in there, but just struggles to find anything.
Do you have any more coins? It appears to be coin operated.
I ran out of coins.
They probably snap back at that moment. And
it's a good point,
Maybe
actually.
you
guys would believe that he is coin operated. Like, there's no reason not to think that. Like, it's such a good point. I hadn't just considered that. Like, yeah, that's a really, really reasonable assumption to draw, is that every so often you're going to need to put a soul coin in him. That's yeah, it's so true.
An expensive machine.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
It means there's a lot of souls just walking around towards the castle. Surely nabbing a couple of them, not too bad.
Hoover them up.
Big Luigi ghost vacuum.
I'm not gonna lie. Let's do for our next Blinsky special like a Luigi's Mansion style. That'd be pretty sick.
I am all for
Halloween.
For Halloween, I think we've
The
got our next
knockoff
Blinsky.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
I
I like
thought
that
we
a
were doing
lot.
4th of July before then, though.
What was that? Sorry.
I thought we were doing 4th of July as well before that.
I was mostly kidding. My joke was if I can come up with anything legit for then.
We can do a little
because you do
insurrection plotline.
Day.
What was that? Sorry.
Independence Day, where the aliens come in and then they blow up the White House, and then we've got to fight off the aliens. Come on, it's all there. There's 2 movies about it.
I don't think that's what they're celebrating on the 4th of July. That one time aliens invaded and blew up the
July.
I'm pretty sure it's about that movie.
This is
Yeah.
our Independence Day because they repel the aliens. Has no one here seen Independence Day?
I have, and I'm 100% with you. That's what they're celebrating on July the 4th.
Yeah, okay. Look, I'll be honest.
Documentary.
My American knowledge is lacking in some areas. I do feel like you're both gaslighting me hard on this, which makes me think it's definitely not true. You're too desperate for me to believe. Whereas normally you'd be like, yeah, go fuck yourself, Owen. You're actually trying to convince me, which makes me think this isn't real.
So the alien.
Also, it's not
repulsion
fucking
isn't
real. I'm
what's
not falling
convincing.
for it. Carry on, please. Yeah, thought I'd play along for a little bit, but no.
I'm going to send you another YouTube link, and it's going to prove that I'm right once again.
So I think Styx, after just making that noise for a minute, is just going to look at everyone and just go, "Hello."
Hello, is your name still Styx?
Correct.
Or are your swords now?
No, it is Styx. Hello.
Okay, well, it's once again a pleasure to meet you.
I'm Tithla.
I know.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
All
I don't like
right.
to assume that people know who I am.
All right.
Does this mean that you're not gonna give back that hill?
Styx is probably gonna have it pop out again. And it like slides back out into his, well, I guess the end of their hand, and goes full lightsaber and looks at it.
You know what? I think we're probably more interesting than just the hill. So you know what? We'll just play this one on time. Yeah. I don't need that hill back. That's okay.
This is me.
Hello.
I need this.
Okay.
It is who I am. Please do not take this from me.
That's okay. You can work it off by continuing to come with us and help fight our enemies.
All right.
We can keep teaching you what good and evil is.
All right.
Do you accept souls in any other form, or does it have to be in a coin?
What?
Yeah, Styx, you've got no idea what Tithla's talking about.
Well, just to power you. To like turn you on?
Nah, you're pretty sure you don't need souls to power. That doesn't make any sense.
I do not understand.
Do you need a soul?
I do not have one.
Oh my god, he's gonna turn off soon.
Styx, you would know that you do have a soul. Especially now that the hilt is joined. You know that you do. You know that you are the soul. You think, therefore you are. That is your soul.
I
What is doing
already
the
have one.
Okay. So the one we gave you still's working. Good to know.
Correct. Just now.
Okay. Accept payments in other forms as well than just soul coins.
I do not require payment from you.
Yeah, but
of course not.
He did take
Sounds like
the sword hilt though, which is kind of a payment. So I would say that we're paid up. Correct, Styx?
All right.
Okay, great.
I think we should move on.
Yes,
This is boring me, and anyone that may be watching this or listening.
You watch as Lara just like shakes her head and goes, "Look, I'm not fussed, but that's the sword. That's the weapon that we've been looking for. You were just carrying this around?"
Well, I mean, part of it was clearly in this robot form in Blinsky's warehouse. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie. If you miss the fact that Blinsky's grandfather took a sword and forged it into a sentient being, perhaps your network of pros is not so good.
Look, I'll be honest. We only found out about the sword not long after it had gone missing from the castle. I mean, we had no idea about it until that moment, and all we knew was that it had been there, and that it was empowered with some sort of light. That the brothers, the dark powers of this land, clearly feared it. We didn't know where it had gone or what had happened to it. The person who escaped, it was someone from one of the lands, not yours, I don't know, but they'd escaped the castle with news of this thing. There was no way to track this to Blinsky. Blinsky was it's a family of toy makers. Why would they have it?
Because they are pure unmitigated evil?
No, he's standing outside.
Styx.
Hello.
Do you know which Blinsky? Well, you said like great grandfather Blinsky. It's like 9 generations of toy makers where the son, they only have like one child, and the son is always
That's
cool.
far too long making toys for.
Yeah, agreed. We're full agreement on that. Do you know which Blinsky it was? Like, what did he look like? What do you remember of him? Do you remember anything?
I will roll a history for Blinsky.
Yeah, absolutely. You can roll a history check for that. Absolutely. See what you remember.
I'm beginning to suspect Blinsky is also a vampire.
You know, that makes a lot of sense.
Is that an 8, Raph?
It is.
One of the elder gods.
The problem is that the memories that you can access are, as we said before, a bit fragmented, a bit hazy. You have one clear image of your creator in your mind. You're lying down on a table, partially deconstructed, the core open and exposed, the body being assembled around it. The eyes have just been connected, and the first image they capture is the face of a man looking down, half shadowed by the light above, his features hard to make out. But you think you can see a scar down the left-hand side of his face.
When I was made into this abomination, my creator had a scar on their face, and they looked like a Blinsky.
Scar on the face. I might narrow it down. Let me have a quick look. I'll see if I can flick through the records we've got.
Styx, you should not call yourself an abomination. There's terrible self-esteem.
I am no longer what I was. I am an amalgamation, and I am uncertain of what to think.
So you weren't created, but you were changed. Do something else.
Broken.
No, you were fixed. And so far you haven't fallen asleep on watch or buggered off in the night, so not too bad.
I do not understand the reference.
No, there's no reference.
It's just things that are terrible to do.
Yeah. Only bad people would do such a thing and especially not tell anyone about it.
All right.
I mean, if you were just a sword before, you're being held and wielded by others. No, you can do that yourself. You wield the sword yourself. Like, you definitely got some positive changes going on there. So
I do not like that. I do not want my own destiny. Put me back.
Okay, you can just do what we tell you to do, and that will work out pretty good.
All right.
you were a sentient magic item, I want to point out. Like, you had a will of your own as the sun
Playing
sword.
mundane longsword.
you were a sentient magic item. If you were interested, the original stats of the sun sword. Give me a second.
Now we're good.
Okay, cool. Carry on. No, you just because you probably do need to know this. So the sun sword was lawful good, and you probably do need to know this. I'm just thinking as like what your original alignment and things were now that you've reconnected.
Yeah, I probably did need to read up on this.
That's okay. It's okay.
Original alignment doesn't last very long in this group anyway.
No, let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly right.
You got 2 sessions left, right?
Yeah. Okay. So you were, so you were a lawful good weapon, lawful good sentient magic item, and your goal was to destroy evil wherever it may be. How much of that remains is up to you. Oh, sorry. What was that, Jonor?
I was going to say him and Luther will get along real well.
Yeah.
Not if this group is teaching me what good and evil is.
Chaotic good. Sorry, I misread that. You were chaotic good weapon, imbued with an intelligence of 11, wisdom of 17, and charisma of 16.
You're good then.
Yeah, that actually checks out.
He's nice blood.
Yeah, exactly right. Special purpose is to destroy evil. You secretly fear your own destruction.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's not news.
So you've been playing it perfectly. As Lara finishes flicking through the report, she holds open the book and shows you a figure which does seem, on the surface, a little bit similar to the figure in your memory. As she holds it up and shows you, goes, "Is this the one? Is this the Blinsky? Is this the Blinsky that like was touching you?"
People all look very similar.
Point to where the Blinsky touched you.
It points at the blade.
I cannot be certain, but I think so.
Right. Okay. The notes here. Look. To be fair, actually, it looks like one of my ancestors, one of the other were ravens, one of the Society of the Feather that was looking into this, did actually mark Blinsky as a suspicious person. Claimed that he'd been making weapons and getting them across to various resistant groups, and the whole toy maker thing was a guise. It's just that, like, definitely my investigations, my mother's investigation, like, it seemed like they were genuinely harmless toy makers. Do you reckon, like, maybe the cover became so good after a while that they just kind of believed it and just became toy makers? Because, like, I'm just going back through the notes, and it's like definitely the last 3 of them have just been toy makers. Nothing interesting.
Trying to avoid corruption in this land seems like a difficult thing to do, so fair chance we're getting foiled.
I am not a toy.
No, that's true.
I mean, you're not a toy?
I am not a toy. I do not know.
I've been a toy before, very briefly. Not too different.
All right.
I'm just looking through, and I mean, it is possible that Blinsky got his hands on the blade, but who broke the sword? Who split it? Do you remember Styx? Not with your 8, unfortunately.
No.
Not yet.
Well, we found the hilt in the Burgomaster's house in the attic.
Yeah, you said you were in Valakovich.
Yes, it is in the Burgomaster of Valaki's house.
That doesn't surprise me.
Jonor found it.
The father of the old burgomaster, Boris, he was a hoarder, would collect all sorts of things. Sent a number of groups out to go and investigate a number of sites to bring back artifacts, was convinced that he could find items of great power hidden in these lands. The last report we've got, a group was sent into the Amber Temple and they never came back out.
The last person I recall who held me when I was fully myself was the woman back at the Abbey who we have just left.
Irina? Irina is the last one to have helped?
I do not know. It was a woman with black hair and green eyes. There was a second woman who looked just like her with many scars.
Well, then if it looks like hers, then it must have been, what was it, Titania? Was that her name?
I do not know.
Well, I don't expect you to know, but I think that's what the abbot was saying, or whoever it was the object of affection for both of the Dark Lords.
Who are they?
The Count and the Lich.
No, the room's warded. You can say the names. Strahd and Sergei.
You didn't say them before.
Yeah, the room's warded. Nothing. You can't even scry in here. There's magic protecting
Water?
it. What?
There's water?
No,
They're
warded. Warded magic. You know, like a magical
a
barrier that stops noise escaping, and magic can't be cast in here from outside for scrying. I mean,
Special shielded.
Jonor, you're a wizardy type. I mean, you're welcome to test it if you want. Go upstairs and try and scry in here. You won't be able to. You won't be able to hear anything from these walls.
There's water.
I mean, there is also water in
go.
barrels if you get thirsty,
know
but
what?
it's warded.
Is there anything else we should know down here? Any other items you've been tracking that we could hunt down?
That's
I
the
think
main
so.
one, the sword. That's
Yes,
the main thing we've been trying to get for you is the sword.
Hello.
I mean, mission accomplished. Although, is it a problem if the sword is in like this talking form? I mean,
I was gonna say, like, if there was the previous owners of one of the Dark Lords, Strahd or Sergei, then they probably want to get it back, and knowing he's just around, probably could just swoop him up. So maybe with a bit of grace, or hiding that sword, may be a good idea actually. As soon as they find out, they'll want it back.
well, here's the thing: how are they gonna know? Like, we didn't know. The master spies who've been monitoring this realm for generations. We had no idea that the blade had been turned into this construct here. Styx.
Well, I think once he gets it out that lightsaber form, I think it'll be pretty obvious.
And we can't lie.
It's true, this would be wrong.
Yes.
Please do lie. If asked a question you don't want to answer truthfully.
Have you been lying
really
for us?
haven't been watching us.
Have
you been watching us?
Yes,
Have you been
absolutely,
lying
I
to
have
us,
been.
though?
No, well,
Are you lying?
we did.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Then how can we trust you?
Oh my goodness, this is getting way out of hand. Look,
I agree.
So back to the topic. Is there anything else we should track down? Jonor never told us about the vision in.
Jonor's never shared the vision and the dream he had where he tapped into his latent powers of prophecy and foresight. And saw the
flooded village.
the creature in the flooded village. He's never shared that. It's always been his thing, his little secret.
Well, I guess if you don't know any other items we could track down.
We're a group that tells each other everything, okay? We don't keep secrets and we share. We can't just magically stop that because you think that we just can't lie to people. It's not what you do.
In answer to your question, there's at least one more thing that I think would be useful for you to track down if you want a better chance against these evil forces. There was a holy symbol that is empowered with I don't know, sacred light or some bullshit like that. But apparently some paladin had it. It was created sunlight and this light around itself, and was particularly effective against undead. I think it was like a platinum-shaped amulet, and it had a symbol of a raven on the back of it. The Keepers of the Feather had been keeping it safe for generations until we lost Berez, the town. And Stefania's mother, who was carrying the symbol, as you know, she didn't make it. Baba Lysaga killed her. We think the symbol, this amulet, might still be there, either in the swamp or in Baba Lysaga's hut.
Okay, well,
that sounds very convenient, because I actually do want to go pay her a visit.
First, we have some druids to kill. Has any of your spying revealed anything we should know about Yester Hill?
Yeah, we've got reports on the area. The large tree at the very top. So that the hill, as you approach it, it's a really large grassy hill just covered with these fields of brown, decaying plant matter that stretches out like veins from the side across the fields beyond it into the forest. Any of the trees, any of the bushes, any of the plants there could be blights. Any of them. Yeah, all of them could be, for all we know. You can't tell them apart just by looking at them. And we've not been able to get scouts close because, you saw that shit outside, right? Shit's nasty. There's two entrances. One is, we're pretty sure, hidden. The druids only use it when they're confident no one else is watching. Around the base of the tree, there are some roots positioned on the southern side. One of those roots is actually a false wall. You can open up the bark, pull it aside, and reveal an entrance. We've seen some druids come and go from there. The main entrance, the one that most of them use in daylight, and the one that's used for them coming and going when they think they're being observed, there's no way that's not trapped. We've not been able to get anyone underground, under the hill. That's where their operations are, right underneath this enormous tree. We've not been able to get anyone underneath there that's come back out alive. But I'm gonna assume that front entrance, bad news. Really bad news.
Okay, but keep this in mind. The secret entrance is very helpful information, unless you are lying.
No. Just meaning, if you're talking to any enemies, tell the truth to your friends and allies, lie to your enemies. How does that go?
That's fine.
Right.
If I said to you the heart of the druids, would this make any sense to you?
Heart of the druids. Now, I let me check the notes. I don't think that doesn't ring a bell. She heads it over to the bookshelf, begins flipping through some of the journals there. While she's doing that, did you guys want to do anything else?
No, I have one more question to ask her, and then it's off we go.
Okay.
Is there a place that we can rest properly before we go? And
yeah,
do
down
that?
here. There's rooms there with beds. Behind me is a kitchen. Like, this is a bunker for surviving all the shit that could go wrong upstairs. Yes.
We fixed my mummy curse last session, didn't we?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Sweet.
You mean your blighted, ruined form?
Yeah, that wasn't cool.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so once she's done searching...
As she looks through, she pulls aside some very, very old tattered notes and puts them down in front of you, Theo. One reference to Heart of the Druids. It's talking about some gemstone. I swear it sounds like they're talking about one of the gemstones we use. I think there might have been 4. Look, as far as I knew, there are only 3. The ones that make stuff grow. One of them. It seems like the Druids have it. In fact, if I'm reading this correctly, all 4 of them used to belong to the Druids. I think we might have stolen the other 3 before they were blighted. Or like maybe when they blighted? I don't know. Unclear.
Well, you'd have to unblight it, so that means the way, the little infection we had in the one here, that's good news. We can probably fix it then.
Maybe. There's no mention of that in this journal here. This is old. This goes right back, but it talks about the Druid's heart at the center of the taproot. I'm guessing that's a big root in the tree.
I'll hunt it down.
Yes, the taproot is in fact it's the main root that goes directly down out of a tree. Often a lot of nutrients and a lot of water is absorbed through that, hence the name taproot.
There you go. Perfect.
Thank you, Tithla.
Well, I mean,
Good
that
tree
makes
fact.
sense from like a thematic purpose, I guess, that the heart of the druids is the taproot. Like the tree needs that. It's like the heart of a tree, right? From what you're saying, like moves fluids around, if I heard that correctly. So,
Yep.
same thing, right? So maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe it's poetic, maybe it's literal. But there's a mention of a stone, and like as she like turns the page, you can see this gemstone embedded in what looks like this spiral of roots. But I mean, look for this, I'm guessing.
Journal's going to move around to the previous book where there was a mention of that amulet that was shape of the raven, platinum shaped amulet. And as he goes and inspects that one, going to reach into his backpack and pull out the deck of cards and begin trying to like attune the cards to the page there. So just sort of lay them out over the top, sort of push them around, mix them around, then shuffle them back up and attempt to learn more about this symbol.
Jonor, let's draw a Tarokka card. Could you please roll me a D54? So you can do it as a custom roll in Roll20. I love it when you use your
I like the roll.
42. Let's have a look.
Is that because you just want to put a 0 on the end there?
Nice. Works
Okay.
in many layers, doesn't it?
As you reach into your Tarokka deck, sort of thumbing through the cards, feeling the almost like this enameled cardboard, this laminated card flick between. It's very satisfying as you move between the cards. And as you stop and slowly pull out a card, you see the 4 of Swords, the mercenary. A figure stands with smoke billowing behind him. What looks almost like the shadowy outline of a village, now destroyed and in ruins. He is armored. You can see that he has 3 swords emblazoned on his chest, the symbol of the sword suit. A large hand-and-a-half bastard sword in his right hand, draped over his shoulders. And on his head, which is helmeted with this peaked helmet, you can see this scowl, a look of disdain. As you hold this card and look at it, what you know of the mercenary, the 4 of Swords. This card can mean a number of things. Primarily, it means choices. A mercenary is someone who makes difficult choices for money, someone who does things, compromises on their morality, compromises on their beliefs in exchange for coin. You know that wherever the token is, you're going to need to compromise your morality, compromise your ethics to get it, to get that valuable. You know that it's going to be a fight. It is not going to be easy. And you know, with the burning village in the background, either it's going to take place amongst the ruins of a village or it's going to leave ruin in its wake, whatever decision you make.
I think some of the key words he'll just be muttering as he starts drawing from the card. Hey guys, there's been speak of the Babala saga and the town of Berez. I have a feeling that, as you said before, Lara, this symbol could be on with that lady if she's the one that slain your dear family member.
Hang on, whoa. Are you a fortune teller? Where'd you get that Tarokka deck from? Hang on, I recognize this.
Do you? Well, I mean, it's been mine for a little bit, but maybe it's a couple of weeks while I've been here.
The box. Can I see the box that these came in? Lacquered wood. Felt on the inside.
Yeah, that's about right. I reach back and hand it out and put it in my hand towards her.
You watch as she shakes her head looking at this thing. I don't believe it. This was something we've been trying to track down for some time. This is a very powerful magic item. This is probably the most valuable item the Vistani own, have stolen, own, whatever. that they have ever owned in Barovia. It's said that this is a real fortune-telling deck, that what you pull is the truth, shows you the truth, or at least the possible versions of it for the future. This is one of the items I spent 20 years trying to track down amongst the Vistani, and you've just had it? Where did you get this?
Yeah, well, the Vistani wouldn't have done it. Theo, you remember what was the name of the manor we came through? It was the
Manor?
Durst Manor. When we were there, I just grabbed it off a shelf. It was sort of an inconspicuous deck of cards.
Huh.
I'm sorry, I grabbed them off a shelf.
Yeah, no, you did. That's right. You gave it to me.
Thank you.
Very kind. Thank you.
Okay.
As Tithla says that, she shakes her head and goes, "Fuck, Madame Ava."
Well,
She told me I'd be green with envy. I would search, and yet I would not find. I didn't think that was a literal fucking interpretation that a green hand would take the box.
Is that about me?
I think that was about you.
Well, my follow-up question was going to be about Madame Ava and if you know of her. And
she's a weird one. Yeah, she's a weird one. Look, Keepers of the Feather, we're not really sure what her deal is. I mean,
I can explain it to you if you'd like.
She's really old. We've got reports of someone matching her description going a long way back. She's not undead, we don't think. We've tried magic and it doesn't seem to reveal her as an undead, but I don't know what it is, but she's really old. She's been around for a long time and she knows more than she should, way more than she should.
Well, I mean, the Vistani can leave this realm, right? They come and go freely?
Well, that's an interesting one. They claim that they can. But, I mean, how do you prove that they're doing it or not doing it? When, we can't track them. When they go into the mist, anyone who goes into the mist vanishes and appears at other points. It's hard to track. We can't watch everywhere at once. But yeah, they claim to. They claim they can come and go.
Well, my point is, from what we've seen and talked to with other people, it seems, compared to every other plane of existence, time doesn't really move here. It's somewhat frozen, or at least glacial. So perhaps maybe she's not immortal, she just buggers off into the mist, and then she spends a couple of weeks there, but comes back and it's been 50 years, and maybe it just seems like she's been around for generations, when in fact she's just a regular old lady, but can just leave.
Yeah, that weirdly makes a lot of sense, actually. I'm going to make a note of that. That's a really good hypothesis as to why that happens. I like that. That makes sense. That checks out, I think.
Can you please explain that to me again later? Thanks.
Of course. Alright, then I think it's time we they've taken your other family members to Yester Hill, have they not?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't make any... that's their base of operations. That's where they're located. I would say so, yeah. I mean, especially if they're convinced that the blood of a shapeshift is what they need, then yeah, I reckon that's where they've gone.
Then I think we do not have time for a big rest. I think we take roughly 10 minutes, gather our thoughts and our energy, and we push on.
If you wanted to have used this opportunity to take a short rest, you absolutely can. This conversation's been long enough that you could have had a short rest.
Surely.
Man, I truly, really could go a long rest. I'm not sure how helpful I'll be, honestly. That's dropping everything onto that tree.
I would never forgive myself if we spend the time to rest only to rock up and have all the Martikovs be dead, the stones corrupted, and the druids of Yester Hill be unstoppable. So,
look, no one wants to save my brother and my nephew more than me. But if you go there and die, that doesn't help them, it doesn't help us, and it doesn't help you, especially not in the long run. Take the time you need. If this is going to be a bad fight, trust me, I want you there as quickly as possible, but I also want you to succeed, and I want them to live. If you go there and you die and they die, that's the worst possible outcome. Especially now that you've got the sword and now that you're changing things. And now that you are the sword, now that you're changing things in Barovia. I think it's better, I can't believe I'm saying this, that you get yourselves prepared.
Styx did make a fair point of if they were really sending everyone out to gather as many Mardikovs as they could, I don't think they're going to start unless they've fully, actioned all their plans. They wouldn't just do 4 plans and action when they got 2 of them done.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we had a prison to ask, but
Theodore,
Yes,
you are a druid, correct?
I am.
You understand rituals, correct?
I do.
How long would it take for their ritual to complete?
Can I roll for druidiness? And could it be
yes.
a wisdom stat, please?
I will let you roll with your spellcasting modifier, as this is specific druid magic you are trying to interpret. However, I am going to give you I'm going to set the DC according to the fact that this is blight druid magic. You are not taught blight druid magic, Theo. Specifically, you're like the Circle of Wildfire existed to wipe it out. You're there to destroy all blight druid magic.
I'm Indiana Jones passing ancient Mayan through Aztec to translate something that doesn't make any sense, but that's chill.
Let's see.
What about the whole know thy enemy?
Well, no, here's the thing, right? On Nostea, they didn't need to because they'd wiped them out. There are no blight druids left. The Circle of Wildfire was successful. There hasn't been a blight druid seen on Nostea in hundreds of years. Even the Furbolg records that go back to the time of giants, like the blight druids, as far as everyone knows, are gone. After the ruin, none left.
And while I do really pick up as a player what you're laying down with,
You don't like it because you really want it to be to suit your 12 that you've just rolled.
Well, I mean, regardless, I just let you know, I'm not doing this because I'm completely obtuse. What comes next?
Here's what you get. Here's what you get from a 12. You're not 100% sure what ritual they're performing. You've heard a number of times that this is some sort of blood ritual. This is blood magic. Blood magic is not something druids practice at all on Nostea. That's one of the reasons why the blight druids were wiped out. However, the fact that they're transferring or taking the natural aspects of one thing to empower another, there are spells that can empower the land and bring about, convert magical energy, convert the weave into energy for plants to grow on. Plant growth, for example, which can be cast in a number of different ways, one of which you can cast for quite a long period of time to empower the soil around it for months afterwards, days afterwards. They want to do this spell to permanently give them shape-shifting powers back. You get the sense this is going to be a long ritual. They are going to need a lot of blood. They are going to need a lot of magic. And you also get the sense the time of this ritual is going to be important as well. For moon druids, your most powerful magic is at a full moon. Yeah, middle of the day. Yeah, full moon. For wildfire druids, middle of the day. For blight druids, hard to say, but you reckon darkness is going to be pretty important. Probably very much darkness is going to be a part of that.
What time we got now?
At this point, it's only... What was that? Sorry, Tom?
I said new moon, just like Twilight.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, I mean...
a clip.
Oh, no.
Or a breaking dawn.
No. As you are... Jared's not here. I guess we can fit another Twilight reference for Luther. Hold on tight, Goblin. So as you sort of think over the magic, you reckon this is going to be something that's going to require a lot of time, a specific time of day, and a number of required items that are not going to be easy to get up and running. The fact that they launched this attack on the winery and in one go and tried to kidnap everyone at once tells you that they want this to be soon. Clearly they have some of the items ready. Like from a tactical standpoint, you only launch this attack and gather the people later on. But they fucked up. They didn't get everyone. Which means that they're going to need something else to bridge that gap. Or they're going to make a second attempt on the winery. Hard to know which. You don't know if they've got the
Styx,
numbers to even do that, to be honest.
Styx, truthfully, we spent a lot of our time hoping the Circle of Decay would never come back. They're not my area of expertise, but the ritual probably has at nighttime, but it will take a long time to go. It will require a lot of blood. I do not know when they will start with the bleeding. They'll probably need items. They probably already have them. There's no way to tell how much of their preparation has been done in advance or still has to be done, but I suspect they were pretty close before launching this attack. We kept a few Marthakovs from them, but they got some more. We have their Wither Splinter and the gemstone here, so we might be able to get in a proper rest for you, Jonor, but truthfully, I think there's a reason why. I mean, we sprinted down from the mountain as fast as we could. I rode as a horse to get all the way here. My vote is on push forward to the Yester Hill now. I do not want to be too late for either stopping the ritual or saving the Marthakovs.
I do not sleep. I do not require rest like you. I will go now and I will stall them.
Do you need an update and the system restart every 3 to 4 weeks? And does this
every time you connect new hardware, he needs to be rebooted?
I require time to reflect of an evening, but I am fine. I will go and I will stall them. You sleep.
No, I mean, if you're going, I'm going.
I can trick them.
If you're going, I'm going.
That I am not real.
Look, I think like once I don't think you walking up to their home base is going to. I don't know if we can pull that trick off a second time.
I can take something from one of the bodies that would make my scheme plausible.
What do you guys need? Like, if I've got some health potions, if you need healing, if you're looking for, what do you need to get ready for the assault? Like what obviously, like rest to recover and get your energy back. But what else are you after? What do you need?
I think that's just it. I'm in a 10-minute break and I'm right as rain, more or less. I think it's Jonor.
Is it magical energy, Jonor? Is that the problem?
You have your spell thingy you got from the guy
on the bridge. Yeah, I know. It'll give me some of my a little bit of my spells back, but it'll still be well deficient.
I mean, you can't really cast Fireball anyway, so is there any real point to you in the fight?
Oh, I've got things I can do, don't you worry.
What?
And then, yeah, many times.
Maybe you go ask Raspip for his ring, and maybe that will give you the magical energy you need to.
You just take it from him. See how that goes.
I've learned a couple of things in the last day or so. Oh, it'll come out when as needed. Look, I think you guys should just have a look through the books and get best reading on Yester Hill. Maybe familiarize yourself with the landscape or something about the type of druids while I rest.
Okay, I'll go and sneak and have a look.
I will go.
I'm also going.
I'll do it by myself.
I will come with you, small person.
I mean,
I'm more sneaky than you.
Realistically, I can turn into a cockroach. I'm the best for scouting.
Okay, what if we all sleep and then tomorrow we can go scouting?
I'm gonna go sleep now. I then head off to a room that she pointed out before and start a rest.
Luther nods and goes, Theo, you were saying that there's a chance these druids might come back and make another attack if they failed this time?
Well, I mean, I don't see that as lightly. I think we've dealt a big blow. If they need more Marthakovs, perhaps. If they know about me being here, perhaps. But I know Jonor just disregarded what we were saying and fucked off. But
why don't Raspip and I keep watch then? I would feel more comfortable with Raspip up there, not down here. And
Well, I mean, by all means, stay and keep track of Zimartikovs if you do not wish to come to Yester Hill.
Oh no, I want to come to Yester Hill. I'm just thinking I'll head upstairs and keep watch while you guys have a quick rest, because I'm fine. I don't need a rest.
Well, it's not the safety here that is the worry for me. It is the safety of Zimartikovs being taken into the accursed blighted hill and being drained of their blood for some unholy ritual to restore spellcasting.
Do you reckon the abbot could bring him back if that happened? I mean, worst case scenario.
I mean, let's not rely on whether or not the abbot can do resurrection magic on command for us.
Deus Ex abbot's probably not a best backup.
Probably not
a good backup plan, not a primary plan.
Yeah, not rely on the Ex Machina.
Yeah. Tithla, you're raising your hands. You could just speak up. You know, we're a democracy. We're a group. We share stuff.
It's not the classroom.
Well, I mean, I've just been told that people of my stature are better to be seen and not heard.
Who said that? I'll punch him in the face. Who said that?
Anyway, I was just thinking two things, really. One, maybe we should tell Raspip that they have his ring. That he has his ring. That wouldn't work.
No,
Okay, never mind.
I mean, look, if anyone was going to fall for that, I think it would be Raspip. Or he just wouldn't care, and I think he'd be more than happy to just lay down holy fire on them regardless.
Just send him in as a distraction, buy us some time.
Yeah. The other thing, hasn't it been a couple days already? And didn't you say they were waiting for a certain type of night? Is that night tonight?
We have no way of knowing. We have absolutely no way to know when their ritual will start, how close they are to starting. But I mean, we got.
Well, what?
They attacked us earlier today when Zimartikov boy managed to run up to the Abbey at Kresk, and then we ran straight back down.
It's been a couple of hours since they were taken. It's not very long.
Exactly. So the faster we get there, the higher the chance of them being saved. If it had already been 2 days, then I would say takes the rest. But they could be taking them back there and bleeding them out momentarily. And
does it need to be fresh blood?
I mean, that only gets worse for us if it doesn't have to be fresh blood.
Theo, you know it needs to be. They need to be alive for this, because the druid that you kept captive, I mean, pretty much said that to you. That you needed to be like they could take a vial of your blood, but that wouldn't be as good as you. Like, they made it pretty clear that they needed you.
If it must be fresh, that will take time and will be the last component used. Am I correct?
100% correct, but there's nothing to say that whole thing won't take, the next 3 hours, and while we're having a snooze here because someone wants to go for a nap and read his books, then...
I don't want to be dark, but I've just had a thought that's a bit, like...
Dark?
So, blood, right? It's a replenishable resource. If they didn't get enough of it, enough people... They can still get enough blood. It's just going to take them a bit longer, right? If they took a little bit and then waited, then a little bit and then waited.
Except,
it wouldn't be fresh then.
It wouldn't. That's true. It wouldn't be fresh.
Yeah.
They're going to need the rest of the Mardikovs. I don't. Do we think they're going to risk doing this wrong? Because if they kill these Mardikovs, then they're not going to have enough. Definitely, they're going to be waiting generations for the Mardikovs to have more children. I know. I told you it was dark. It's a dark thought.
Unless there's a substitute, perhaps they grab some werewolves. I mean, even the abbot could grab some of them. We know they're in the area near Kresk too. There are other substitutes they have.
Yeah, Lara, what's the movement of werewolves? Where are they? What's going on with them? It's a really good point. We should have been thinking more about werewolves too.
There's other options besides Mardikovs. I imagine a were-raven a bit easier to capture than a werewolf, but
yeah, the druids and the werewolves are bitter enemies. I mean, I can send Stefania out to go and have a bit of a look and see what she can scout. I'm not aware of any werewolf packs that close to Yester Hill. Nice. Yeah. I'm not aware of any packs near Yester Hill. They're off towards the north. Werewolves are, yeah, that's a whole other thing. And I do resent that werewolves are harder to catch than were-ravens. We could be pretty sneaky.
Oh, sneaky, yes, but if you had to, grab one in a fight, look.
Yeah, fair.
Giants. Yeah,
that's fair.
The raw destructive power of the werewolf is higher than the raven.
Yeah, we normally in the fight-flight sort of category, where ravens firmly fall under flight, I think would be fair to say.
I believe I'd pick Red Raven if I had to pick one, but if I had to capture one, I'd probably try and catch as a Raven.
Yeah, that's fair. We should. I mean, that's a good point. If they didn't get all the Mardikovs, there's other Mardikovs. Like, it's not just the family here. We've got family in Kresk, in Vallaki. I'm gonna send out messages to the rest of them, see who else has been under attack. I mean, I figured they'd be safer inside the walls of the towns, but maybe not. Maybe this is a problem for them as well.
I don't think there's much safe in there. Vallaki, the Mardikovs are probably safe there, but I think the guys in Kresk may be up for Perugia. But but
that's in the shadow of the abbot now, the abbey, and you guys went through there.
The abbot would not lift a finger to help anyone down into the town of Kresk.
I thought you'd fixed him or something.
We fixed him to a degree. He can be reasoned with now, but his primary concern is protecting the abbey and the occupants within that. I don't think he would give a shit about the town of Kresk.
Well, Adrian was at the abbey. You said like he was safe in the abbey.
He's safe there, yes.
Because I had told Adrian to go and stay with Damien in the inn there, but if he's safe in the abbey, at least we know Adrian's safe.
That's what we told him.
Okay.
Yes, the one in Kresk possibly in danger. Other ones possibly in danger. Werewolf possible. So, they could get the blood in many ways. Is all I'm saying.
But can they get it?
Well, I do have a feeling from some overpowering force in the world that we would be fine if we did the rest.
I don't understand what that means. Do you mean like Strahd has told you that we're okay, or like?
They're not okay. They are not okay.
That.
I am drinking them right now.
Owen, can I?
Hello.
While this conversation's been going on,
yeah, man.
Styx is just going to wander back up to where the druids are. Whatever's left of the druids. I'm assuming like we've plonked them somewhere, or are they still just scattered around?
I think they're just where they were left. I don't think there was any conscious effort. Although when you get upstairs, Styx, Jacob, could you please roll me a D100? I want to see what Raspip has done with the bodies while he has been alone up there, unsupervised.
I hate that.
Can we not? Can we save it as a surprise?
No. Could you please roll me a D100?
Can we just say he's off making wine in a corner of the vineyard somewhere?
He's making something, and I'm pretty sure it's a mess.
I've been making blood wine. I've drained all of these bodies of blood, and now I'm stomping on it in the ground. Let's see that D100. I'm ready, Jacob. Lay it on me.
Oh, mate, apologies.
Yeah.
Is there another
24. Styx, as you get upstairs, in the middle of the vineyard is an enormous pyre. You can see Raspip has been busy tearing up most of the plants, and he is now burning them in a big bonfire in the center. You can just see he's just standing over there warming his hands. There's no bodies in sight anymore, but you can see the partially collapsed roof behind you hasn't been fully repaired. You know that there were some bodies in there, but you can see Raspip just warming his hands on the fire, and as you emerge he goes, "Oh, the robot. Have you finished down in the cellar?"
No.
Okay, what are you doing up here?
Have you burned all of the bodies?
Well, the ones outside, yes, after I picked through what they had and determined they had nothing of value to me.
Did you burn the things that were not of value to you?
I burned everything I did not care about. And I couldn't be sure which one of these were blights or not, so I've torn up most of the vines in this part of the vineyard. I plan on moving around the rest of it as time goes on. Can't be too sorry or safe.
All right.
It's what he'd do. You know that's what Raspip would do.
That's what I said.
Can I please see what you found on them?
Mostly gold, which I intend on keeping.
When you say mostly...
Alright, not only gold, fine. Reaches into his pocket and pulls out a handkerchief with some things that have been wrapped up inside the cloth. As he opens it up and shows it to you, Styx, you can see that Raspip has gathered together an assortment of what probably were the Druid's spellcasting focuses. You can see that there are the necklaces with these very tightly bound blood red vines, along with bound on like leather cords, along with what looks like almost like a carved figurine. The wood that it's carved out of is this dark, almost grey maroon color. The outer layer, this like ashen grey, the inside grain of the wood, this almost blood red maroon. And as you look at the figurine, you can see it's roughly carved into the shape of this almost grotesque, snarling face.
Okay. You can have those. Styx is gonna...
I was going to keep them anyway, but thank you for that. As he wraps them back up, puts them in his pocket.
I want to... There was like that woman who was in charge that I was deceiving in the house.
Yes.
Can I please... I want to try and find preferably her body, but any bodies in the collapsed area. I'm specifically looking for anything on anyone that might constitute like a, I don't know, Blight Druid Almanac, something like that might give like a time frame what they're doing.
Okay.
Hitchhiker's Guide to
yeah.
Bleeding motherfuckers. Styx, as you head inside, could I get you to make me an investigation check, please, as you begin looking through the ruins of the manor. Oh, not the manor, sorry. The ruins of the... I guess it is. It's like a homestead. The ruins of the homestead. Oh, we've had a summoned NPC from Foxtrot. Foxtrot, if you want to Discord me the details, I'll have that NPC ready for the next session. If it's a logical time to bring them in, otherwise I'll bring them in the session after. Normally I try and bring them in as soon as possible, but we always want to make sure it kind of makes sense with the narrative as well. So shoot me the details on Discord and we'll have a chat about it.
I apologise for Owen there. He should have said please.
I think I did say please the first time around, did I? Or did I not?
You did not. I checked. No.
You checked. You went back and listened. Sorry. Please, if you could send me the details on Discord, I will get to that ASAP.
Everyone, round of applause.
I thought for a hot second you'd rolled a 3, but that was just Theo doing his hit points. 22 Styx. Mate, as you begin, almost, I want to say, like a machine, tearing apart the collapsed roof and wall, uncovering the bodies that were partially hidden underneath the rubble. Raspip obviously has not done manual labor to uncover these bodies. They are still there. And as you go through the belongings of the woman who's in charge, you can see that there is this strange object that at first you kind of write off as just being some sort of weird stick with fabric. It looks like there's this length of fabric balled up at the very top of this stick. It's got these weird markings on it that don't look like any language you've ever seen before. You move on. And then you pause. Something in your brain, the pattern recognition systems, begin firing. Almost this holographic projection. And you piece together, move the fabric in 3D space in your mind and stretch it out, and suddenly letters begin to form down the shaft of this stick. And as you turn around and pick it up, and following this strange intuition, begin unrolling the fabric and rolling it back up, suddenly letters in a language you don't recognize or speak begin to emerge on this stick. When the fabric is rolled tightly around the length of this wooden shaft, suddenly text appears in vertical lines. This is old, very, very old. The fabric is ancient, frayed, and has been handled many, many times. You can see stains from oil, from fingers. You can see sections where it's fraying and broken. But something about this, you just know this is important.
I carry my rag on a stick back downstairs.
As soon as you walk downstairs and hold this up, announcing, hello. How do you announce it, I should say?
It would pretty much just be, okay, hello.
Theo, as you glance over at Styx, who's just come down, he's holding a stick covered in Druidic writing.
What does it say?
I don't know.
As you take
I
this.
would like to
read
pass
it.
that here. I have a look. I also have an idea. It is pretty bad, but let's have a look at this first. Maybe it gives us another option.
As you begin examining the Druidic writing, you can see that this is a very old form of Druidic, but similar enough to the dialect you speak that there is no problems interpreting this. It's somewhat poetically structured, and at first it's kind of hard to read, partly because the way Styx has wrapped up the stick isn't quite right. The letters don't quite line up perfectly, and as you unwrap it and then rewrap to get it at the perfect distance so that it forms meaningful letters, you can actually see the vertical lines are irrelevant. It's the spiral that you follow. And as you follow this spiral of text, you read, "Blood for blood under the red moon," around the curve of the shaft.
Would I know of any partial lunar eclipse that should be occurring in the coming days?
That's the interesting thing with Barovia. I mean, obviously lunar eclipses can occur on Nostea. There's 2 moons, so twice as often. In Barovia,
half as often.
Why half as often?
Well, because it's 2. You could multiply by 2 or divide by 2. It's pretty simple maths, Owen.
I see what you're trying to do there. That doesn't check out, and that's a shame.
Oh, you can have a lunar eclipse.
You can have a lunar solar eclipse, triple eclipse.
It'd be even more than double, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So Jacob's
It'd
just
be halving the amount of moons that you can see.
No, but that's not half as often. You said half as often, which is incorrect. That's a frequency, not the type. So
I thought I taught you better about the phases of the moon.
You're an engineer, Jacob. Says you need to get.
I thought I taught you better about chat groups, and you didn't know about that either.
I didn't say I didn't. You just answered before I did.
Oh. Well, maybe I should.
Sometimes it's nice to let you demonstrate your knowledge, or I seem like I know it all when it comes to nature.
Well, you do know it all. I learned it from you.
Exactly, so I let you have the time to shine.
Aw, thanks. I always take you for granted. I'm sorry.
So, enough attitude.
Are we not in a rush?
Oh yes, we are. So interesting thing about Barovia.
Make me a nature check, please, with advantage. You've been here for a couple of days. It's the kind of thing that you would be paying attention to, I suspect.
Do we all agree that nature should be a wisdom skill?
I don't think we do agree that, but you do have advantage.
Because it's pretty bullshit that I should have all this knowledge.
12's a good start.
Better than an 8.
Take the 12. Theo.
11, 12.
The cloud cover that has smothered the sun of Barovia thins at night, inexplicably seems to work the opposite to how it does on Nostea. During the day, the sun burns through clouds. In Barovia, if anything, the cloud cover grows stronger and stronger, but at night, the clouds dissipate, sometimes allowing you to see strange stars and constellations glittering through the night sky. You have not seen an eclipse take place in Barovia, and it would be very hard to predict an eclipse without knowing the movement of the sun, particularly because you can't see the sun at all during the day. But luckily, Theo, you know that you're in a repository of knowledge collected across generations of were-ravens of the Keepers of the Feather. If anyone was going to be aware of lunar cycles, you are in the perfect space to just ask, and the information will be there. Because if anyone's going to be tracking the fucking moon cycle, it's a were-raven. Or a werewolf.
Yeah. Would you happen to have any charts to tracking when's the next lunar eclipse, partial lunar eclipse is likely? We're looking for when the moon will next be a vivid red color.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we need to keep track of the moon because during eclipses we can't transform.
Yes, so...
Being honest, just thought you might like to know that. The next full eclipse isn't for months, but partial eclipse, not tomorrow, but the day after.
Merci. Well, then there is our answer. Based on this Styx found, I think we have a day or so before anything is likely to happen, which does means that we probably don't need my terrible plan, which was I was going to head over to Yester Hill and offer myself in trade for Zimartikovs. Given my blood will work a lot better, I think I could do that trade, and then you all come and bust me out. Actually, might still be an okay plan.
Nope. No, bad plan. You nailed it.
No, I mean, it would make sure they are safe, and then I'd be inside to wreak havoc when you come save me.
Do you remember when you were talking about volume of blood is what they need?
Well, for me, it'd be much less, and they wouldn't be taking it for the next 2 days, so...
But why would they give away a bunch of blood for your blood when they could have a bunch of blood and your blood?
Well, because I'd be offering my blood in trade. It wouldn't be a... They would only get zero, or otherwise I would...
I'm assuming that they would not... I get Tithla's point. Tithla, do you want to explain it, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, so... you know how we don't lie to people?
Yes, they would not lie to us?
Except if they're our enemies, right? I see where you're going, Tithla.
Nope.
Bring it home.
So we wouldn't lie to them, but I don't understand. No, they wouldn't lie to us either. No, you're right.
They wouldn't. What was it? We had a deal. And if you have a deal,
okay.
someone's...
That's a great plan. Let's do it.
I like it also.
Lara just shakes her head and goes like,
please make sure to bust me out this evening.
No, they're not gonna they'll agree to the trade, but there's no way they're actually gonna go through with it. You have to know that, right? Like why would they care about honoring a deal when they're about to get everything they could ever want? Like taking you as well.
I would wait till the Markovs have been released before I went anywhere where they could take me.
But I mean, you're assuming they're going to give you a choice to do that. You have to approach the hill to do this, right?
And I turn into, if it looks sketchy, I turn into a bird, fly back.
You did hear the part where I said where Raven scouts we've sent there haven't returned? Like they're ready for people. You haven't been able to get close.
I assume you bitched out and gave up.
No.
How many Markovs do you have to extend?
How many Markovs have we sent to Yester Hill?
You're treating these as disposable.
No. Brave keepers of the feather have risked their lives and lost their lives trying to gather information on probably our second worst enemy after Babalai Saga.
Okay, well, I still think it's not a bad plan. Unless you don't want me risking your life to save your family.
I don't want you throwing your life away and helping them with their ritual that's going to get them what they want to get my family killed. At least if they don't have enough for the ritual now, there's a greater chance that my family will live. If you go there and give them what they want, and let's even say that they don't need my family after, let's say you give them everything they need, they don't even need them. They're not going to let them go, they're going to kill them. They've been hunting were-ravens for as long as we've been here. As long as they've been druids of the Blight.
But maybe they'll be chill once they get what they want. You know the saying, everyone's happy once they get what they want.
No, the saying I've been living by is past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior, and these guys have been cunts since day one.
Don't go on the stock market then, Lana.
I don't know what that is.
Terrible.
But can you compare the pair, though?
I don't know what that is.
Well, you're just talking about past performance, future performance. But anyone,
past behavior. I said behavior, not performance. Past behavior. We're talking about people here. What people do often, like how they've acted in the past, is a good indicator of what they're going to do in the future.
Performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
It's not. It's not.
Industry super funds.
We're not talking about performance. We're talking about behavior. And behavior is pretty predictable, and these guys are shit. Oh my god, he's so proud of him. Look how happy Jacob is. He's so proud of himself for that one.
That was a good one.
He's actually crying. He's got actual tears. We've lost Haz too. I love how Tom, Raph, and I are just more laughing at them rather than the joke. Because they really had to fight.
So
he had to fight to push it out. Like, it was an effort to get that out.
Yeah, because I knew how funny it was. It was hard to share.
I really think you've really enjoyed that joke yourself more than most people did.
No, Haz is with me.
I wouldn't take Haz as the gold standard of enjoying humor.
I think it hit exactly the mildly funny spot that just tickles Harrison. You know, he just loves that mildly funny.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I knew he was going in for a bit and I totally defocused. I didn't even know what it was.
He quoted back an old industry superfund ad that is very hyper specific for Australian audiences, and I think also east coast of Australia too. I don't think it even made it to Western Australia.
Loved it.
Chad have suggested I give you a -1 on your intelligence for that appalling joke. It's tempting.
You can't go from 1 to 0.
It's tempting. Look, if you genuinely think that you can get my family out, and trade them for yourself, and genuinely think you can get that plan to work, then yeah, I'll do what I can to help. I just don't think the druids are going to go in for it.
I mean, I think we could. At the very least, be pretty entertaining.
Theodore, you can kill them in the morning.
Well, my concern is I don't know if I could live with myself if we just sat around here resting and we rock up and any of the Martikovs are dead, or not even any of those crystals, the only thing keeping this land vibrant, corrupted, then
if you go in there, you won't have to live with yourself.
I don't think it will be us. I mean, we could all go together now and fight them now while they're preparing for their ritual.
And then all of us will not have to live with ourselves.
I mean, if you do not back yourself to win that fight, sure. I mean,
Right now, no. I don't. I need to sleep. You can see how much I'm still bleeding.
What do you need to sleep for? You're more of a rest for 10 minutes and bounce back kind of gal.
There is
Okay, I know
blood on the floor.
Yeah, you see? And then I'm going to do a Tithla Angel.
And she lies down and does a
Okay,
Tithla
so
Angel on the floor.
Even I dislike that.
You watch as Luther begins licking his lips. It's weird. It's all the blood.
Oh, no.
I'm getting really hungry all of a sudden of this. Some small steak.
I think we all had a big talk about whether or not you would eat us, and we agreed you'd stay as the Bat-Free Sons, so...
It's been a while since I had one, though. Tithla's looking a bit bat-like right now as she waves her arms about. She flaps around on the floor.
Go easy, Gnome out. Go have a Gnome pre-son. I think we'd all be okay with that.
Do you reckon he tastes spicy?
I probably taste him.
Yeah, because of the fire.
I'll report back.
Yes, please don't.
Killed on screen.
You come back and you just see a smoking hat and Raspip saying there, he tried to take my ring. And my blood, but I'm more annoyed about the ring.
Okay, well, if you all say no, then I will not go to Yester Hill.
No.
I will be going with you if you are going.
Well, given that it's now just the three of us left.
Jonor's asleep, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, possibly one of the rudest things he's ever pulled, but
It was very assertive. I like
the time
it.
he tried to bind me.
Somehow this annoys me more.
Wow. I think no. I think you said that they need a blood fresh. They can't do it for a couple of nights.
Well, so
They're
says
gonna be
this
okay
thing
till the
we
morning.
found.
I think it is a very bad idea that will get you killed. But I will go with you if you need.
Well, I appreciate that.
It's a ride or die right there.
He just was healed. He is financially obligated.
Correct. I am bound.
Amazing.
Okay, well then let's rest then. Let's get it over with quickly and then get there. We strike at nightfall.
You may all benefit from a long rest. Jonor.
Hello.
We better talk about your dreams, my friend.
Hello there.
Oh, okay. I'm back in the zone again.
Could you please roll me... You drew upon the Tarokka deck, so yes, you are back inside the zone again. You may now have noticed the pattern. When you draw upon the Tarokka deck, you sometimes get dreams. Could I please get you to roll me a spellcasting check while the rest of you benefit from a long rest?
Ooh.
26. Jonor, as you slowly drift off to sleep, your mind racing, as you think over the events that you've just witnessed, as well as your fear of what might be to come. You find yourself drifting, the room around you blurring out until you stand alone, a void of darkness below you, the mist all around, and high above, a blood-red moon shining down, the light casting this orange glow across your clothes, the blue of your scarf almost washed out until it almost seems grey underneath this red light. As the mist begins to clear, you see a hill rising from the mist. A large tree, branches reaching out, obscuring the stars above, drinking in the light of the red moon. Around it, a spiral of stones surrounding the hill. Only you know they're not stones. Too white, too polished, too irregular shapes. These are bones. Bones that have been stacked into almost cans. Hundreds of them, thousands of bones. And you know the hill itself, you can feel it beneath your feet. There's as much bone here as there is soil. The tree in front of you, the light of the moon shining upon it, begins to pulse with this red light from within. And you watch as one of the figures standing around it, these hooded figures, almost like antlers made of sticks rising from their heads. Not Styx the character, Styx the item. Hello. Sticks made of antlers. Antlers made of sticks. There we go. Antlers made of sticks rising from their hoods. You watch as one of the figures reaches up with this almost like banded iron sickle and cuts off a section of one of the branches. And as you find your attention drifting closer, you see no sap dripping from within the branches, but thick crimson blood flowing from the wound. The tree begins to move and twist, almost as if alive. And as the roots part, you see down below a chamber hidden in the hillside underneath the tree, the roots creating this enormous domed cavern for a moment that almost seems like a cathedral. These arched buttresses rising high above, creating this feeling of this holy, reverent space, until you see the bones wrapped around the roots. Jutting from the walls, this fetid soil made of decomposing flesh. And in the center, an enormous spiral root emerges from the tree, diving into the earth below, and at its very center, a pulsing red light, glowing softly. Blood flows around the basin at the root, rising up, flowing into this gemstone at its very core. And you watch as from around the room, passageways begin to open up, the roots shifting and changing, warping, as figures begin to walk in. 9 figures from each of the passageways. And as they approach, you watch as each of them reaches up, and with a clawed hand, gouges out a section of their wrists, holding it over the root of the tree, blood flowing as the tree begins to pulse once more. And then you watch, similar to the druids up on the surface, these 9 figures below begin walking over to the large roots, creating the roof of this cavern, cutting a section of bark away and drinking deeply of this blood sap. Their bodies writhe and shift, warping, changing, taking on these animalistic features. Claws, feathers, beaks, but warped and twisted, monstrous in form. And as you spin around, you see 4 figures kneeling around the root of the tree, their arms bound behind their backs, blindfolded, silver pressed against their throats, these chokers, a silver band. And you can see the flesh around the edge of the silver burned, almost as if it has been touched with fire. You recognize two of the figures. Davian, kneeling there, his beard matted with blood, a bruise over his cheek partially covered by the blindfold, a split lip slowly leaking blood down onto his chest, his head bowed. And you can see the younger son of the Martikovs, not as injured as his father. His arm looks to be dislocated, the shoulder joint on the left side almost out of place, looking strangely warped. But unlike his father, whose head is bowed, you can see him looking around, listening, trying to see through the blindfold, trying to hear what's going on. And as you get closer, you see that his face is defiant. You can see he's still fighting. Then the dream shifts and changes, everything blurring out as the mist replaces all that you see, slowly sinking away. And with a 26, Jonor, you feel the mists flowing past. And as the image begins to fade, you realize that this is a dream. And you have power in dreams. What is the future but the dream of what's to come? And you see the future, Jonor. For a brief moment, you know you can shape this. See what you want to see. Be where you want to be.
Jonor, I think his subconscious would want to know where Baba Saga is and where to get to her.
Jonor.
That's probably top of his mind.
Fantastic.
Top of your mind's not the task we're about to do.
He's just seen that. He was just there. He's seen that. I thought for sure, I was like, it'll either be Baba Saga or he's going to ask about Grinner, but Baba Saga it is.
Oh,
yeah, look, that's a good point.
I hadn't thought of that.
That's a very good point.
Everyone forgets about Grinner.
Who's Grinner? Jonor, as your mind focuses, you see the mist begin to flow around you, and you reach out your hand, grabbing it and twisting and pulling, forcing it to move to your will, to bend to your command. The black void beneath you shifts and changes, the mist pulling back and revealing a swamp. Dark waters, overgrown and choked with vines and foliage. The ruins of a town, now drowned and buried beneath these waters. And in its center, a fountain, once beautiful, once flowing with crystal water, is now broken and shattered, filled with filth and slime. But the town square is not empty. A hut stands atop 4 chicken-like legs, these scaled, clawed feet, half buried in the mud and water beneath. Thatched roof, wooden beams, and a door painted with this strange sigil, not unlike an eye, in this dark red ink. Light glows from within, and you can see the fire flickering through the windows, almost like eyes. The door in the very center and these 2 windows into the hut on either side. With your power and with your control, as you pull yourself to this location, you watch as the hut slowly turns towards you and takes 1 tentative step back.
Am I there?
You feel yourself there, standing above the water. The mists flowing around you, almost holding you aloft as you stand atop them.
I think we both know what's coming, and it's just a matter of time. You chose the wrong one.
You watch as the door handle slowly begins to turn. The silence of the swamp, this ominous creaking, as the door on these rusty hinges slowly begins to open. As the fire inside the hut suddenly goes out, the sudden darkness for a moment assails you until you see two glowing purple eyes from within the cabin. At first, it looks like a figure of a person, maybe a bit hunched, this almost hump on their back. And then as a hand reaches out and grabs the door frame, you watch as the figure slowly begins to stand, unfolding itself from inside the hut. 7 feet tall. This almost angular head, long hooked nose, pointed ears, and fang-like teeth smiles through the gloom.
My pretty, dreams again, dreams of power. But we all have to wake up sometime. I am the true master of dreams and nightmares in these lands. Your power, I will admit, is greater than those who have come before. But nothing compared to what I can muster.
Well, you're not as unattractive and ugly as I thought you would have been. You're horrific.
Your honeyed words will not sway my focus. You and your friends are mine. Those who make it back from Yester Hill.
Look, I think you're gonna try, but clearly you've been here for too long and things are changing. You know? There's a bit of a ripple and you may just be carried away.
You speak in words. Speak, speak, speak. Squawk, squawk, squawk. I want to hear you squeal. And I shall, my pretty. You will squeal for Mama Lysaga.
You're all talk yourself, actually. I've been here for 3 weeks and you're already noticing what I can do. So I think you stay in your dank swamp, you foul hag.
Oh, such unpleasantries. And you open so softly, so sweetly. Ah, what a shame.
It would be a shame if some other hags had an unexpected ending, actually. We'll leave that one with you.
Those fools in the windmill. You must be joking. Amateurs. Weaklings. The only reason I did not raise my hand against them was because it would be to sully myself to sink so low.
I don't think you can go any lower than a swamp, actually, so...
Shows what you know. This is a place of power. If you cannot sense that, what kind of magic do you wield? Weak as well.
Clearly something you do not understand.
Come on, then. Give me your best shot.
And
Look, it just sounds like you don't understand, so that's your fault.
With that, Jonor, you watch as the hag reaches into a pouch at her waist and pulls out this grey-black dust. As she flings it into the air, you watch as the mist suddenly twist and shape around you. I'm going to need a wisdom saving throw, please. I want to see if you are trapped in this nightmare or if you resist. Watch him get another natural fucking 20 and just like own this hag once again. That's an 8!
Oh, dear.
Jonor!
Oh, dear.
Jonor, as the grey-black powder glitters and swirls in the air, the mists that you had bent to your will suddenly abandon you, and you find yourself plunging down into the dark waters of the swamp. Hands, corpse-like, emaciated and rotting, reach from beneath the fetid water to claw at you, ripping into your clothes and your skin, grabbing at you. And as you reach for air, you watch as a face, half hidden by the surface of the water, slowly bends down towards you, that of a beautiful woman. And as you break the surface for a breath in, you see Babalai Saga, her features twisted and misshapen, staring down at you as she reaches out, laughing, cackling, hand grabbing at your face. I'm going to need a sanity check from you, please, Jonor.
Yeah, fair enough.
That is a fail.
Ooh.
And that is a fail by 5 or more, which means I am going to need a... this is going to be a madness check. So that is a fail of... Yep, more
so
than...
you have a +5 and you got an 8 after you had a +4 and got an 8. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, what is wrong with you,
Roll
Jay?
better.
I need you to reduce your sanity score by 1, Jonor. It is now decreased by 1. What are you at for your sanity score now?
I think you might have been tracking it.
Yeah, let me pull it open.
I don't think I've lost one along the way.
Did we not lose one right at the start in the
Jonor,
in the mist?
You were at 14. You're now down to 13. And because you fell by 5 or more, that is going to be a madness check. Could I please get you to roll me a D100? And then a D10. And this is what we're going to end on tonight is your madness. 87. 87 is pretty good. Could you please roll me a D10?
6.
6. The good news is you are stunned for 6 minutes. You're also unconscious because you're asleep, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't have any impact on you whatsoever because you are asleep. But in this dream, you no longer can move. You can't react as you freeze in place for the next hour, 2 hours, for the next week. It's hard to know. Time in this dream seems to slow to a crawl. You experience horrors beyond your wildest imagining as Babalai Saga holds you in this nightmare for your entire long rest.
Oh, jeez.
When you awaken, we are going to add a fear to your character, but you and I are going to talk about that behind the scenes. That is going to be something separate that we do. We will introduce your fear if and when it next comes up in the sessions.
Absolutely.
That is a stunning note to end on. I think you all wake up feeling very well rested, except for Jonor, who spends most of that long rest in sleep paralysis and then awakens screaming.
Bet you're glad we did this rest out, buddy. Couldn't find druids.
It's so funny. It did actually. Do you feel happy now, Has? Do you feel like Jonor reaped what he sowed?
A bit, yeah. I'm quite vindicated.
Never be rude to Theo. It just comes back.
Do what Theo wants or get sleep paralysis. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It has been wonderful having you here once again. We will be back next week for more Curse of Strahd. But before then, we've got our Return of the Giant session this Wednesday and our Avatar Legends session, The Rise of Kyoshi. No, The Legacy of Kyoshi. The Rise of Kyoshi is a novel that I really like. The Legacy of Kyoshi this Thursday. For those of you watching us on YouTube or listening to us on the new YouTube podcasts, hey, welcome. Amazing that the podcast is now operating through YouTube. Now that Google Podcasts no longer exists, the podcast is available through YouTube Music and YouTube Podcasts. If you hit that like button and the subscribe button through YouTube Podcasts, it also counts as doing it on YouTube, which is amazing. So if you could do that, it would be a massive help to us. Otherwise, if you're listening to us on Spotify or Amazon or Apple, any of the other podcast platforms, if there is an equivalent of that, rating, subscribe, or follow, if you do it for us, we'd be so grateful. Really, really helps us out. For those of you watching on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We are going to go and raid one of our lovely friends of the channel, and it looks like tonight we are going to be raiding... Corsair's Cove. They're doing Humblewood tonight. Yes, of Midnight and Madness. That seems like a very appropriate stream to move on to following this. Seems like it thematically follows. Mwah, chef's kiss. So we will go and jump in with Humblewood. From all of us here tonight, stay safe, stay well, and we will see you all again very, very soon. But until then, have a lovely time and see you guys again soon. Farewell, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.